fighting the tide while the puppets sleep. Echoes of truth drowned in the roar. The cabal's machine always wanting more. Who is the cabal pulling all the strings? Sinister whispers the chaos it brings. Take two and go back to sleep tonight. GTA 6 dreams fade into the night. The advocate stands, but the odds are steep. Fighting the tide while the puppets sleep. Echoes of truth drowned in the roar. The couple's machine always wanting more. Who is the couple pulling all the strings? Sinister whispers the chaos it brings. Take two and go back to sleep tonight. GTA 6 dreams fade into the night. Tonight, GTA 6 dreams fade into the night. Fade into the night.
What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 25, season 2 of COTI Confidential. And like I said, I'm feeling a little bit spicy today. How about you, Soren?
Well, that was a spicy opening tune there. And welcome to Eli as well.
What's going on, guys?
Are you
up,
feeling
son?
spicy today, Eli?
Well, now that I see that Tracer's wearing that stupid hat, yes,
Oh, you like that?
I do. It's better than my McDonald's one that I'm going to go put on after this.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's go, Soren. Let's do the weekly.
Yeah,
How we always start it.
I'm going to start out with a weekly update. And just before I do, I apologize in advance if I'm either sneezing or coughing or somewhere in between. I've been down with the flu most of the week, so you have to excuse me. Hopefully not too much, but yeah, it was actually it was a relatively quiet week in our ecosystem. Probably as quiet as we're ever going to see it. It was a busy day in the markets, or busy week in the markets, but a quiet one where we were. So no partnership announcement, but plenty of other things going on. So I'm going to focus a little bit on those things. So last week COTI released the manifesto, and apart from the fact that we've seen a number of excellent remixes of the manifesto, including Tracer's, we've also seen both COTI and Soda Labs publish several excellent blogs laying out some of the most practical and valuable use cases for garbage circuits. So that's been excellent. And when it comes to writing blogs and doing video content, these are actually two of the options that will be available to the whole community in the soon to be launched COTI Incentives platform. And that's basically it's gonna be, you're gonna have a million different ways you can use apps, you can do content, video content, blogs, you can trade, you can mint NFTs, and all of it's going to be able to earn you extra COTI. So those days where we could only earn extra COTI by staking, those days are, well, they're already to some extent gone, but they'll be completely gone with this. Another way to earn, and that's connected to all of this, is to vibe code and build and deploy your own dApp on the COTI network. And I've seen a significant increase in activity from the stay.coti.io guys. They're running now many live video casts on YouTube, and they're doing live vibe coding events in and around Southeast Asia as well. So absolutely brilliant. So this is all lining up to the launch of this incentives platform. Another part of building dApps is to make sure you got all the support tools that you need. And we already got plenty of tools in terms of AI, but also a new partnership such as Crossmint. So whenever you look at monetizing your dApp, set up your payments and wallets and this and that, Crossmint is absolutely made for that. The stuff these guys come up with is fantastic, and they're not landing small partners here. They're landing huge partnerships using their technology, and it's basically being made available on our network, just as our privacy tech is being made available on the Crossmint platform. So anyone who builds mini apps using Crossmint's technology, they'll have this in the toolbox as well. So, and it's extremely user friendly. The last thing that caught my eye during the week, is that DAOs are seeing, and have been for a while, seeing an explosion in popularity. You got DAOs everywhere for everything. And our partners from Syncra published a very nice piece illustrating how garbage circuits can be used to ensure not only privacy, but also balancing it with compliance. So absolutely fantastic. And these DAOs, and the way to do these DAOs in the correct way, I think this will catch on quite a bit. I'm expecting to see big things from that. So those are the sorts of things that I've picked up during the week, much less than normal, because we didn't have any partnership announcements or anything this week. So I thought we could talk a little bit about the manifesto, and then seeing as we got Eli here, we can talk a little bit about the markets, because there are some very interesting things going on now. So over to you guys.
All right. Well, let's play it then, and then we can chat. The world is racing to digitize value across borders, protocols, and systems. Open blockchains make this possible, but with openness comes risk. When everything is public by default, everything becomes exploitable by default. Innovation stalls, and entire sectors that serve billions of users stay on the sidelines. We've seen the crypto hype cycles come and go, while adoption of blockchain for enterprise, government, and institutions has stalled. This is because blockchain has a fundamental infrastructure problem. Privacy wasn't built into public blockchains, and now the cost of exposure is too high to ignore. We know this because we have these conversations every day with enterprises, institutions, and governments from coast to coast and around the world. This is why COTI exists, to solve this problem through on-chain privacy. What comes next? The answer is finally adoption. We are head down building infrastructure for this new era of Privacy 2.0. A new era of blockchain infrastructure where data is protected, logic runs privately, and sensitive data stays protected while usable. Finally, builders, institutions, and ecosystems can responsibly adopt blockchain. Welcome to the new era of Privacy 2.0. Watched Eli do a bit of a scene change there in the background. That was, it's beautiful there, man. Wow.
I think he ran from his porch to his car. Beautiful there, mate.
Wow. See, like, I live on the prairies too, but there are no mountains in the background. It's just prairies.
Oh no, I live like right in the mountains. So
Yeah, no kidding, man. Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Soren's been wanting to talk markets, and since you're here, you've been posting a lot, and also fighting with what would you call it? Like fighting with trolls. That's been fun to watch.
I don't know,
Good
like
times.
scammers. I really, I'm kind of settled on this. That dude's just a straight scammer.
Yeah, man.
His his business is based out of mail order business out of Wyoming, where they have a lot of mail order scams come out of that address. So
Awesome. That's great. So what do you think about the markets right now, man? I know that like a lot of people are looking at Bitcoin and a couple of their memes and just not understanding why, we're sitting where we're sitting. It's cheap at
well,
twice the price.
I think we're just at that point where people are giving up. Said last week before last, the volumes are just nothing. So
Yeah.
that's usually when the markets reverse. I mean, everybody's you look around crypto Twitter and there's nobody around. There's like 17 of us still hanging out. People complaining, price will never go up. I'm trying to get a Bitcoin out of somebody once COTI crosses 6 cents because it's never going to cross 6 cents apparently. Um, but we'll see if they take the bet. Take the bet. We got market structure bill coming out this week. We got 3 different crypto bills hitting the Senate this week, and usually, up until they pass, I think the price is going to rise up all the way up until September. And I think once they pass, we'll probably see a drop off. But
Do you think, Eli, that this run on Bitcoin that we've seen for the last 10 days, yeah, is this the markets front running next week? Are we gonna see a sell off after next week?
actually, I think we're going to see acceleration. I actually think we're going to see acceleration. Yeah, I think we're going to still. I think we're going to pump until the end of September, personally.
Yeah, because I mean, I personally I don't know exactly what's in all those bills that makes it even more interesting for Bitcoin, but the whole timing of it seems like okay, we got this amazing week for crypto coming up. It's going to be the biggest thing ever since sliced bread. Okay, markets front run this little
Right.
bastard, and let's get going.
Yeah. Well,
Which normally means that at some point next week there would then be a little bit of a sell off.
I don't think it's next week. So I think this week is when it gets introduced, and I think we'll see the pump up until it's passed. Probably it'll probably drop as they're voting on it. Be my
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So and we're not expecting any passage until September. You'll get the stuff introduced. They'll talk about it, complain about it, and then we'll drop off. After they vote. There's been a lot of distractions. So.
True. And then, interestingly, as we've seen this run up on Bitcoin, we've also at the same time, curiously enough, seen the Bitcoin dominance go down a fair bit.
Yeah.
I think it's gone down 1 or 2 percentage points.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can not screw this up.
You're looking BTC Dom. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think he was trying to do screen share from where he is. Can he do that?
He could, yeah. I'll get on it here. I don't know, man. I just feel like things are going to send when we least expect it.
They always.
I'm waiting for.
It's never when we do expect it, is it? So it's got to be when we don't expect it.
All right, sorry about that. I was back. Yeah, the dominance looks like it's dropped. I don't know, three percentage. XRP and Ethereum. I was looking at XRP and Ethereum dominance charts, and XRP is about a year ahead of Ethereum as far as the breakout goes on dominance, and it looks like Ethereum is right on the verge, which is good for Ethereum ecosystem. I think we should see a nice big move
Yeah, I mean, as far as we are concerned, as far as COTI is concerned, right now we are moving either with Bitcoin or with Ethereum, and I probably say a little bit like you do. We'll probably move a little bit more along the lines of Ethereum than anything else. We haven't got anything come up for us yet that's basically allowed us to decouple. So, until we see some game-changing announcement from our side, I think we're just going to largely follow the markets.
And I don't know that, it's going to be specific to COTI. I think it'll be more like, once that market structure bill starts getting traction, privacy, CBDC language, things like that, staking language, that's part of that market structure bill, the staking language. Any of those will start pushing narratives. And, the market as a whole, we're just rising with the market. And once,
exactly.
I saw XLM breaking out today, and XLM usually follows XRP. They're kind of hand in hand. There's nothing driving the speculation around XLM other than just the algorithms are trading the charts and they're starting to break out.
Yeah.
So we're a decade off from any serious adoption. I think, mass adoption. We're gonna see a cycle. I think. I know a lot of Bitcoin maximalists are saying it's a Bitcoin only cycle, but man, it sure looks like we are dropping that dominance, and we're gonna see some. I'm looking like Ethereum dominance of 30%.
And the one thing that I've noticed, and I like it, I really like it, is there's been a lot of chatter around Ethereum, especially from Tom Lee at Fundstrat. And if there's anyone, there's a lot of idiots out there talking their backs and coming up with all sorts of nonsense. But if there's one guy who's more right than wrong on anything from crypto to markets to macro to Fed policy, it's Tom Lee. Yeah, he's an extremely clever guy, and he's now gotten into doing an Ethereum treasury company, so a treasury vehicle, a bit like Ethereum, but a little bit like MicroStrategy, but for Ethereum. And he's been very clear. Bitcoin's digital gold, blah blah blah. It's all good. Nothing's changed there, but Ethereum's going to underpin the new financial systems.
Well, and the Trump administration, they're 90% Ethereum in their holdings. I mean,
yeah,
I can't. I don't think that they're not some level of corruption there. I'm just going to guess, and I don't know why they wouldn't pump their own bags.
No, let's call it front running or whatever.
Whatever.
Your word is good as anything. Absolutely, that's the other thing. These guys are absolutely mortgaged to the hilt with Ethereum. They filled their bags as much as they can, so absolutely they're going to pump it. There's no doubt about it. We just don't know when and how, really.
Yeah, everything looks primed. I mean,
yeah. As
everybody else is giving up, I'm doubling down, man. I'm stupid. That's okay.
No, you're absolutely not. And I mean, the most impatient ones have given up. The less impatient ones, but still impatient, they're in the process of giving up right now. I can see them every day begging, pump, pump, pump. Otherwise, I'm out. I can't take it anymore.
Perfect.
It's not. Well, yeah. It is what it is. It's not the way out. Do it because this is absolutely. You got to respect the cycle. So you got your Bitcoin. You got your Bitcoin pump. Then you got your Ethereum pump. Then you got all the large cap and medium cap. And then after that, it rotates to people like us. Unless there's a big privacy thing coming where everything privacy just explodes, or if there's a game-changing announcement from COTI.
Sure.
Could be a Middle East deal. It could be a central bank thing. It could be something in New York, because we know that they've been talking there as well. Something really something that'll grab some headlines. Other than that, we are still very early in this cycle. There's still a long way to go. There's no need to give up on anything.
No.
But don't expect it to pump tomorrow either.
I posted the Omni candle that put in 300% the other day, and it's in the same range as COTI as market cap. So all these coins in this range can do a 200-300% pump in a day. I mean, they'll sell off. You don't move 300% and not get a sell off, but we're just coiling up and getting compressed. You look at the monthly chart, everything is just so freaking tight. I think the end of the apex is end of September, something like that, on the weekly. So
yeah, I saw a chart today that we're actually in a 2-year descending channel, and we respect that channel all along the way with no exceptions. And even a move to the upper part of the channel would basically be, I think it was about a 200-300% move. I can't remember.
Puts us about 12 cents. Like that. 12. Yeah, I am definitely not throwing out my COTI bag.
Have you given up, Tracer?
I couldn't. I'd given up logging into TradingView there. That was like super frustrating. I couldn't get into.
Well, it's been boggy, hasn't it? It's
what was going on there?
I don't know. I've been having trouble TradingView myself. It's not wanting to load and glitching. Coinbase has been glitching on me too, though. So
have I given? Well, that signals bull market, right? When the exchanges stop working and TradingView starts crashing, right?
Yeah.
Hopium.
It does. I mean,
that's
hopium.
That's hopium, man.
Yeah. Go from copium to hopium.
Have I given up? He says. Now you're just trying to trigger me. I'm too stubborn. First of all, I'm too stubborn.
I'm pressing your bitch button. You said you were feeling a bit. No, you said spicy. Sorry.
You know what I'm most upset about is I smoked a brisket for almost 20 hours. And when I went to bed last night, it was beautiful. I was spritzing it. It was beautiful. And I woke up and it was just garbage. And I'm like, I'm never going to recover from this, man. Like, I'm very upset. So, no,
I'll get you.
It's not markets. It's my brisket. I'm like a sad guy right now. I had
when I get back to work over McDonald's, I'll trade you out like a Big Mac or something. Price for that.
Yeah.
Eli, when this is all said and done, you're probably going to buy all the Wyoming, all the McDonald's franchises in Wyoming, aren't you?
No, well, I'm in Montana.
Sorry, Montana. Yeah.
That's okay. It's a touchy subject.
Probably fighting so.
Yeah, I've one of my best friends lives down in Wyoming, so trying to get him out of there before he gets ruined for life. But yeah, I wouldn't mind buying a couple McDonald's. Yeah, give me something else to do.
Nice bit of passive income.
Well, I mean, free French fries. It's really. Yeah, it's everybody that's left that's still just holding on. I mean, they're desperate for a massive pump, and I think it'll probably come right when they sell.
I'm way too stubborn for this. And honestly, these people that are crying about these tiny little moves between whatever, like 5 and 6 cents, like I just can't handle listening to it anymore. You're talking about this is splitting hairs, man. I'm not here for 5 cents. I'm not here for 10 cents. Like it's just like I'm not even looking at it. I'm looking at Soren's weekly updates, man. That's what I care about.
There's a mentally challenged individual that posted, the order books. I mean, showing COTI's got his order book had 8 million COTI on the books to pump to 20 cents. Like, okay, if that's all that's between us and 20 cents, okay.
Well, I tell you what.
Don't get me started on order books, man.
No, and once COTI starts to pump, 8 million is going to be chewed through in less than 3 minutes. Once they start pumping, it'll go very, very fast. Yeah,
I hope
an
so.
8 million COTI or sell side order books, nothing. But yeah, no, I have to say I'm with Tracer for this. I'm not paying that much. I've been paying a little bit of attention because Bitcoin's on a run, but other than that, I'm really not paying any attention to this. 5, 6 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents. Honestly, who gives a yeah? We're here for something a little bit nicer than this, and we're here for building a proper ecosystem and getting some good contracts landed. So much more important and much more interesting.
It'll happen. I mean, it takes time, and I do enjoy this part of the market though, when I seeing people make.
You muted yourself, Eli.
There we go. I said it is nice to see some people make some wealth in this part of the market. I've been in crypto long enough to watch friends go from nothing, having nothing, to being retired. So
Yeah.
it is nice to see some people that deserve it actually, capitalize, and life's change. Then you get this people that squander it all on stupid stuff, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and God knows there's a lot of people in the COTI community that, if anything, have deserved a proper good pump. But you got to respect the market cycles, and you got to respect that we are still only. Are we now 4 months into V2 mainnet? So and we've come a long way. Yeah, but people are getting very impatient. That's quite clear. So.
Yeah. Well, COTI's still building. I mean, if you're at this stage of the market and your project that you've maybe bought the top on and it's still building, you're going to come back. The markets are going to come back. Now, if you bought something that's I don't know, like Luna, and that's an extreme example, you probably never get your money back. But
no.
But if you did buy 45-cent COTI, I think you'd be fine.
Yeah, for sure. It's don't know how long it's going to take to get us there, but once it starts going, it'll go, and it'll go quick, and nothing's going to stop it. Tokenomics and all this drama is not going to stop it.
The tokenomics are fine for COTI. I mean, it's not a huge tokenomics issue here. I mean, there's not a massive supply. I don't know why everybody is freaking out about the supply of COTI. It's not massive. You look at stuff like Doge. Doge has an unlimited supply, and it was peaked out at number 5 last cycle, something like that.
They're still top 10, aren't they, or top 15?
Yeah, I mean, it was, Ethereum actually has an unlimited supply. There are a ton of projects with unlimited coin supply that just pump massively. If that's why you're here, for the pump only, I wouldn't stress out about a couple billion COTI.
No, and let's keep in mind that as we've touched upon tokenomics a couple of times before, the whole vision of COTI V2 simply is not possible without that change in tokenomics. So whether you like it, whether you don't like it, it's really not relevant, because if you like the vision of COTI V2, you're going to have to accept the tokenomics as a part of it, because the two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
I can't even participate in staking, and I'm not upset.
No, but that's one of the bills that they're presenting next week, is basically to allow staking, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It'll define it.
I saw something on this.
Yeah, it'll define it, and it'll show what the path forward is. If you have a project that is staking, it'll allow for grace periods, and this is all fluid. This is all going to change, a million times before they sign off on anything or even vote on it. But this is what the plan is, to build out an actual structure of like how you can get your project to market. So I think the United States is actually trying to move towards privatizing the money, because the Fed is not private, or it is private. I'm sorry, it is private, but it's controlled by the government. The government's the only one that's allowed to create value. So they have the banks will create the value, and then we're just stuck with whatever inflation that they want to give us. I think that's going to change. I think that's kind of the long-term goal, is to get away from the Fed. So, and now that we have the technologies available to do that, I think that's the ultimate path forward. And I personally think privacy is going to have to be part of at least the United States' CBDC, whether it's stable coins or they actually say CBDC. I think that's the path forward. I don't know if Europe's going to get private.
It's not only for that. It's for when the whole financial system, whether you're talking mortgages or loans, any kind of thing that you can do with the legacy financial systems, it's all going to have to go. It'll all go eventually on chain over the next decade or so, as you said, and it'll all need that sort of technology. So it'll need those guardrails without a doubt.
Yeah, here in Montana, it's actually pretty easy to steal somebody's property, just with the quitclaim deeds. We are ridiculously easy just to, go file a claim. I actually had a guy that I bought this property I own from. They put 45 of his properties in my name, accidentally. So I could have just paid the taxes on it and owned a bunch of land, and he probably wouldn't even have noticed. He died a year later, so it would have been a big nightmare in the courts. So there's a huge need for this.
You could have had your own South Fork ranch.
Yeah, well, I think total would have been right around 2,000 acres. So.
But it's typical it's a typical sign of a system that needs modernizing, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah. When I lived in Alaska, and the first ID I got, if there was actually just a laminated piece of paper. That was my driver's license, and extremely easy to fake.
Wait until one day I'm going to show you a copy of my Danish driver's license from 1990, I think it is. There's hardly any lamination left on the bloody thing.
Oh, wow. You still have it, huh?
Yeah, and it's valid until 2036, I think, until I'm in my 60s.
Wow. Yeah, we do it a little different around here.
You don't need licenses there, do you?
We have, it's every 8 years now. It used to be every 4 years you have to get a new license.
Right.
We might be 12 years. I don't know. They just updated everything. Had to get a federal ID to fly, and we're a little behind the times.
That's the typical thing. You will either you will either have it as a thing in your Apple Wallet app, or you will have it as an NFT or something similar to that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the NFTs, that's a huge untapped market. The IDs, the title, car titles, property titles. We're just getting started in this space.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that COTI have been discussing with the people in New York, because they've been talking about birth certificates and death certificates, things like that, and putting them on chain, and that would typically be an NFT kind of thing, or something that resembles it at least. Right.
Yeah, I always use those as examples of. People talk about, pet rocks and, stupid monkey NFTs. Yeah, those are concepts. That's like an idea. But, actual use case, they are there for it.
Silly penguins and things.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. Silly monkeys.
Did you get a silly penguin?
Tracer's got loads of penguins.
I've had a big silly penguin for probably like 1,200 days now.
That's all right. When
Hey,
penguins,
it's been awesome. It's been awesome. It's been one of the best things I've owned, man. Honestly,
good.
in crypto.
There's gonna be a Pengu ETF coming. That's why it's on a run right now. It's gone up.
Ridiculous.
It's done a 3x in the last 4 days or so.
It's ridiculous.
I do love bull market vibes.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a typical bull market thing, isn't it? A meme coin ETF. For fuck's sake. I mean, come on. But yeah.
I'm waiting for Doge to rip, man. Because I'm like old school guy. That's what I'm waiting for.
Right. What do you got on Doge right now? What's it sitting at? 20?
Me?
Yeah, 21 cents right now.
Probably somewhere around there. I always look like usually like when I'm just browsing, it's always Canadian, so it's kind of skewed, right?
Oh,
so I have to do a bit of math, but I haven't looked for a week and a half, and I was like, yeah, it's not a bull market yet because
20 cents.
20 cents. Okay. Yeah. So I think we'll see possibly $5 Doge this cycle.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, and the trading algorithms, right now XRP is pumping and I saw the volumes are off the charts, and that's all coming out of South Korea. I mean, it's all retail driven, and there's a lot of speculation that it's government's buying this and that, and it's not. It's all retail driven out of South Korea because those guys would love to pump the markets.
What's the story with this Ripple banking license that they're looking for? Is that fake or is it real?
No, it's real. Yeah, no, they're. So I think what they're going to end up doing is becoming a treasury, just like MicroStrategy is. They were actually the first MicroStrategy, I would guess. They had the first DEX, so they have a lot of firsts that were just kind of ahead of their time. They get a lot of hate for it, but at the very first desk, I wish they would have some privacy options, but maybe there can be some integration down the road with some. Now they're EVM compatible, but they're going to be. I think they're going to become a bank. The BNY Mellon thing that the custody, boy, that has been speculated for 7 years. I mean,
Right.
that one goes way back. Their one of their chairman, BNY Mellon, what's his name? Anyway, he died in a rehab down in Mexico. He had lost like 2 billion XRP, some ridiculous, because he didn't give his family the keys to. He didn't have the private keys anywhere, and ended up getting lost. 2 billion.
Does XRP have an unlimited supply as well, or
No, there's 100 billion.
right?
Stellar had 100 billion. It used to be a fork of XRP, and then they changed the code and got their own code. And then when Ripple got sued, Stellar ended up burning half the supply, and it gave it half a pump, and then went back down to nothing. So they ended up burning half the value of the chain for no reason. Ultimately, I see people talk about burning COTI, and I think that's foolish. I mean, they don't have a vision beyond the pump of their bag, and that's it. They don't actually expect COTI to be useful for anything other than pumping their bag. So, burn half the supply so I can get rich now and F you guys.
Well, for the people who want to burn tokens, let's burn theirs first, and then we'll burn.
Well,
everything.
that's the thing. Yeah, everybody
also,
wants to. Go ahead.
And listen, this whole token burn thing, it will happen, and there will be community votes on whether we want the burns or not. Yeah, and some people will, and some people won't. But let me tell you one thing: until we get well past 100 million transactions per day, the amount of tokens that can be burned, because the token burns will only relate to transaction fees. Yeah, and until we get past 100 million transactions per day, those transactions fees, they're not going to make a dent anywhere. Yeah, there'll be symbolic burns of a few thousand COTI, no more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so any serious burns that's a fair bit down the road. Yeah.
we're talking about XRPs.
Yeah, go on.
XRP's supply. You're asking if it's unlimited. It's one of those tokens. Is you got a fixed supply, but it's actually a burn mechanism. So every transaction fee on their chain is burned, and it's been running for I don't know, a decade, and I think they've burned, I don't know, it's like 20 million XRP. It's not a lot.
No.
They're low fees, and some of them, like I've seen a couple 100,000 XRP get burnt on accident. Somebody screwed up their transaction, the burn rate, so they ended up burning it and sending the transaction.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I mean, as far as COTI is concerned, as long as we are below 100 million transactions per day, those token burns wouldn't amount to much anyway. So
yeah,
we still got a little
I'm personally of the opinion that if you don't see enough value in the chain, that you end up having to burn a large supply to make everybody happy, then you're not doing anything right.
No.
You don't.
And you're absolutely right. And here's another way to look at it. When we're at 100 million transactions per day, and the token burns are going to become relevant, the price is going to be significantly different than it is today. And all the people who would want a token burn today at 5 cents, I'm quite sure that they would be less interested in a token burn at 25 or 45 or 65 cents or $1. They're not going to be interested in burning tokens at that price. Token burns are interesting when the price is shit, so not when the prices are fantastic.
Yeah, well, and if you think that the team should burn, 2% of their supply, does that mean that everybody should burn 2% of their supply? If that's the case, I think that'd be fair. If I'm going to burn 2% of my supply, I'd like to see you contribute 2% of your supply also.
Yeah.
I don't think the team.
That's the thing with token burns. As long as it doesn't affect me, you all go ahead and burn your tokens.
Right. Yeah. I'm personally not a big fan. I mean, if the project's going to be successful, there should be absolutely zero reason to burn the tokens. Maybe as part of fees, sure. Okay. That's fine. Transaction fees, they can get burned. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, that tells me that the project's failing. That's been my stance with Stellar when they burn their 50% of the supply. It just doesn't make any sense to burn that value when it could be, used down the road. I mean, you can, we're looking at 50 years out. If you're going to burn it all today, well, you're going to regret that tomorrow.
No, absolutely. I mean, you imagine you burned 1,000 Bitcoin when it was at 20 cents,
Right. Well, and this brings up something that you might have missed this week. There's a lot of wallets that started to open up their 14-year-old Bitcoin wallets, moved 80,000 Bitcoin. A lot of those were thought to have been dormant, or lost. They were part of the sacrificial wallets. Everybody expected never to wake up. Well, they did. So everybody that's thinking that Satoshi's donated his million Bitcoin or their million Bitcoin, whatever. I mean,
I thought they were Roger Ver wallets.
Speculation.
Right.
It's speculation, and they could be. I don't know if Roger would need to do that. He's got himself a fairly good stash.
Maybe part of a plea deal too. He's in prison somewhere, isn't he?
He's not in prison. He is in Spain on house arrest,
right,
because some goofy accounting from 14 years ago when he renounced his citizenship, and the IRS really wasn't accounting for Bitcoin at that time. So between his businesses and his personal stuff. There was some mix up, and I don't know all the details of it. And at the time, it wasn't worth that much. Now it's worth significantly more. So they're trying to get their piece. And that's one thing that during this administration that IRS enforcements actually have gone up. Everybody is expecting them to go down. They went up. So, yeah, I would like to see a little more clarity come out. Oh, yeah, and the broker deal rule was negated this week for the IRS in the United States also.
Yeah. And it was quite interesting that 80,000 Bitcoin that all of a sudden started moving. It didn't really cause any hiccups in the market. I think there was a
little bit
to 1% drop in the Bitcoin price, but that's it. It normally that would have tanked. That would have tanked the markets if all of a sudden 80,000 Bitcoin that everyone thought didn't exist all of a sudden did exist.
Well, and I think that was one of the leading signs of this move that we're on right now. Like that didn't push the market significantly, which kind of tells you where everybody's mindset's at. The few people that are left, they're ready to push the market up. We got 400 Bitcoin created a day right now, something like that, 450, and institutions are swallowing up a vast majority of that. I mean, within the first few hours of trading. So.
I saw an interesting theory today that basically these 4-year cycles, they are now a thing of the past. And basically it's all related to, because the 4-year cycles were due to retail playing an outsized role in the market. Now it's institutions playing an outsized role in the market. So we're going to follow the indices, which basically is only up. Then you got the odd puke, but generally only up. So the 4-year cycles are basically, this will be the last of the 4-year cycles, and after that is just follow a more normal trend, more normal capital market trend, if you like. Yeah.
And maybe they're tied to the elections. Also, that's one thing that Satoshi tied the halvings to the election cycles, which is interesting, and I think it's not just election. It's like the liquidity cycles of elections. We don't allow for recessions anymore. And if we have a recession we change how it's determined. The last administration, they changed the metrics on what is a recession. So I think we've been in one personally for the past 2 years. And now this administration, they want to cut 300 basis points, and Powell's looking at resigning. That might happen this week. I saw an article. Is Powell going to make it through the weekend? So if they replace him with somebody that's willing to do a 300 basis point cut, nobody in this conversation is bullish enough. I mean, it's going to get ridiculous.
And the interesting thing, he's not resigning because he wants to resign. He's resigning because they're threatening to impeach him because of his renovation project.
That's yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were obviously looking for a way to make him go because they can't force him out. So this renovation project, which seems to have run 200 or 300 billion over budget, that seems to be the sort of method that they now found to kick him out.
I wouldn't want the job personally. I would not want any part of that job.
No, because you're supposed to be apolitical, and I can guarantee you that if he resigns, and then the next Fed is going to be completely beholden to Trump.
Well,
and then you have the same problem again 3 years down the line, but if you have a Democratic administration with a Trump-appointed Fed. So the whole idea that it's apolitical is nonsense now, isn't it?
It is. Well, if he was apolitical, he wouldn't have cut going into the elections last year.
Yeah.
So that was 100% a political move, but that's all right. They could say, the reality is all those jobs are political. You know,
Very
it
true.
just sucks. It just sucks that you know, all of us non-important people's lives are changed on a tweet or a, you know, personal grudge. I mean, it affects the globe, not just the United States, you know, or the 51st state. You know, it affects pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Even Canada, and you're not even part of the family yet.
Well, that's what I meant by the 51st state.
I thought that was Greenland you were talking about.
No, they're the 52nd.
Oh, come on. We want to be the 51st, and Canada can be the 52nd.
Well, we're not gonna take all of Canada. We'll do some swapping.
Which parts do you want?
I don't know. I'll take Alberta. I do like Alberta. It's a pretty country.
Wow.
BC is really nice too. Oh man,
BC is beautiful.
it is. It is beautiful.
You can buy a teardown home for $2 million. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love Vancouver.
That's the worst thing. I mean, I feel bad for you guys. Your real estate market's just left so many people without anything. There's no hope. You know, like how do you you have kids, right? And how do
bro?
You know, how are they looking forward?
This question.
No, it's there, and I have kids. I've got, you know, nieces and nephews, and I care. You know, I care about their future. That's one of the reasons I got into crypto so passionately. You know, I started doing lobbying here and asking for help. You know, economic certainty for these kids, because I'm set. Like my household is good. I own everything outright. I have land. But, you know, I'm looking at my kid. If he wants to do anything on his own without me handing him something, I don't know what he's going to do. You know, I don't know if they have a financial future. You know, where are they going to live? They going to just rent from BlackRock? You know?
No, this hit me a couple years ago, and it was like, you know, plans to move from this house and everything. And now it's like, man, we need to keep this house in the family so that my kids have somewhere to live, man. Because, like, yeah, I don't want to, you know, enable them in the wrong ways, but like what's happening here is crazy, man. Like, it makes no sense. It's, you know, and, you know, even our minimum wage is going to maybe $16.50 in the next little while, which seems crazy to us. Like, people who've been employing for 20 years, right? It's like, wow, like these people come, they don't want to work. They look at their cell phones all day and everything. But it's like, but sure, you can't buy that $350,000 starter home on a
that should be torn down.
Want your kids to, that you wouldn't want your kids to grow up on. Like, I just watched somebody, like, friend of the family, get into a $340,000 mortgage for a street that I would never, ever. The house is cute, don't get me wrong, but like, I would never want to live there. And growing up, we did not go there. This was like, I don't know what's going on, man. So yeah, it's like the plan now is to like keep this so that my kids have somewhere to live. Man, it's messed up. It's not what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, we have a, you know, good chunk of property. I'd like to buy some more, but you know, I'd like to buy some more so that my kid and maybe their kid has something, you know, because if this keeps going, there is absolutely zero chance they'll ever be able to afford it. I don't care what kind of job they get, you know, unless they short of winning the lottery, you know, they'll never be able to afford it. And it's heartbreaking. Like, you know, if my son has grandkids, what are those kids going to do?
Well, I'm looking at the mortgage that would be on a starter home here, right? And with, you know, everything in utilities, insurance and stuff, let's say the mortgage payment is like for $1,000, okay? Maybe a little under that. But the money that you have to make here to cover that plus have a decent, not even a decent lifestyle, but any kind of lifestyle, you're going to be taxed at almost 50% of your income. It's just like, it's just how it works here.
Oh, and now you got to buy a reliable
healthcare. Sorry, go ahead, man. I stepped on you.
I was just gonna say, and you have to buy a reliable vehicle to get back and forth to a job that you hate. That like you'll never get ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Something's gonna break.
Your healthcare says my sister likes to tout Canada's healthcare, and I have a friend in Florida. They're like, Canada's healthcare is the best. You know.
Oh, it's great if you're lucky. See, that's the thing. People. Something happened in Mexico a little while ago. I don't know if you don't know, but it was like there was no way that I was going to leave, like, because it was private healthcare, right, through insurance. So, I mean, it's not like that for everybody. I get that. But there was no way in hell that I was going to be taking my son back air ambulance to Canada and roll the dice, man. And they're like, what are you talking about? This is first world country. And it's like, we can't keep doctors. We can't keep nurses. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Like, yeah, sure. You can go into Emerge sometimes here and get lucky and everything's awesome and everything's beautiful and brand new and there's staff, but you can also be in a situation where you're unlucky and there is no doctor at that point and there's nobody there and you sit and you wait and then you have to be transferred, and it's like people are dying in Canada waiting for their specialists, waiting for this, waiting for that, and it's like this is not first world, man. Canada is first world, but those problems are not. Like, it's crazy. Our priorities here are messed up. We spent, like, I'm going to go off here a little bit, but I'm going to try to be as politically correct as I can here, but we spent 10 years putting emphasis on the 1% or less. And it just, I don't recognize my country anymore, man. I really don't. I
I feel for you, bro. I feel for you.
So you're
triggering me because I said I was spicy. I said I was spicy today, and now you've got me. So you
preferred the Mexican health system to the Canadian in that particular case, without a shadow of a doubt?
For every reason. Like the first reason was when things weren't serious yet, I was staying with my son in the hotel room with him, and here it would be like, hey, you're out of here at 8. You got to go pay for your, $12 of parking and drive home, and and it started there. And then just the quality of care, all his specialists, like, they weren't just specialists in their field, they were pediatric specialists in their field. And when things got really serious, it wasn't just one, it was 2 of them. And so there was this team of almost 20 doctors who were working together to save this little boy's life. Like, it was crazy. There was no way I was going to leave. Yeah. And I just don't get that vibe from here. I don't. We don't have the doctors, and we don't have, different situation.
My mother-in-law had a stroke here last year. We take care of her, and even here, like, we just don't have the doctors. We don't have the medical staff. The United States has good healthcare in places, but it's been expensive, been very expensive. And, it's not, she's not getting the care. Like, they left her with a bed sore, and they just kept making it worse on her heel, and, that became a whole new challenge for her. And she had a massive stroke. And the doctors that we have from here, I mean, a lot of it is telemedicine. Like, they'll send out for chart analysts. We don't have, and this is the United States, where everything's just super freaking expensive to begin with as far as healthcare. And we still don't get that great of healthcare.
Well, like what you're talking about totally makes sense here, because like I know from experience, if you need a nurse, and this is years ago, and it's worse now, much worse. If you need a nurse, you're waiting for maybe hours in Mexico in that private hospital, but still they can staff it. We can't even staff, our own stuff. It's like my son's nurse was his nurse. That's it. Yeah. One person taken care of. You call a nurse, it's like 30 seconds at the most. It was just a totally different situation, man.
Yeah.
Like,
we've had help come to our home, and it's not worth, you can't trust the people that show up. The quality of care is non-existent. and this is, it's not just here, it's everywhere. It's like this, you know. So it does, between the healthcare and the home, and like, we're in financial trouble, and everywhere basically. I guess how this all started out. Yeah, we're kind of screwed. I feel bad for our generations that are coming, and I just don't know what to do. I mean, like, the whole ribbon between the United States and Canada. I mean, like, you guys are like, like the United States in a lot of ways. I mean, you're basically, joking around about the 51st state. In all reality, I mean, you guys are kind of like part of the country. And all jokes aside, I feel bad for all you guys. I've heard horror stories about the housing, about the healthcare, just the whole system seems like it's crumbling up there, and I feel bad.
And you know what? All of this that we've discussed over the last 10-15 minutes, that is probably the best use case for crypto ever. Yeah, because that's probably our best shot at some measure of financial independence for us and for our kids. Yeah. Because our national currencies, whether you're in Canada and the States or Azerbaijan or anywhere in Europe, they're crumbling, mate. These guys are screwing us every which way to Sunday, and that's probably all we can do about it.
And it's on every level, right? It's like, even right down to blockchain voting and stuff. It's not just the money, right? It's the corruption and everything. So no kidding why people have wanted to suppress it for so long, right?
And I watched, and I explained this to a lot of left and right friends here. When Canada had the truckers complain, or protesting, if you sent them a cup of coffee, you can be labeled as a domestic terrorist, and that just blew my mind. Like, just giving your brother a cup of coffee while he's out there doing what he thinks is right. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. Should have the right to say, hey, this is messed up, and you guys are taking my rights away. You should be allowed to say that. But if I give a $5 cup of coffee to a brother or a friend, now I'm in trouble for that. Even if I sent it from the United States, I could be labeled a domestic terrorist. It was just
it's crazy, man. Like, like 35 years ago, we grew up in school, and it's like you heard about China, right? And it's like, oh, those kids grow up brainwashed. They think they live in the best place in the world, but it's not. And all the while, you're like growing up in Canada. It's like, everybody wants to live in Canada. This is the greatest place, free healthcare, this and that. And it's like, man, the more I started talking to people from coast to coast and around the world, because I got to put that somewhere. No, but the more I started talking to people because of crypto and stuff, it's like I started hearing like negative stuff about Canada. I'm like, guys, you want to live where I live, right? Like, it's the best country in the world. And then you start looking at like different economies, and you start looking at different quality of life. And you're going like, and I'm not fading the fact that Canada, like, we don't live, I'm not talking war torn. It's not third world. Okay. Yep. I get that. I'm very lucky to live in Canada. That's not lost on me, but it is not what we were promised growing up, going through the education system. When you wake up, you realize, like, this is crazy, man. Like, it's not the same country that it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And I just, I think it's completely unsustainable.
And I think that's one of the worst things about it is, like, how good it is and how good it was. And you're watching this thing just kind of crumble. Like, your kid is not going to have it as 100%. Good as you had it. And that's the worst. Like, I've traveled around. I've lived in other countries, and I get it. Like, I get how lucky and fortunate I am. Like, I understand, and it's not fair. Life is not fair and there's a lot of people that have it way worse, and I understand why they want to come other places. But if that means that I have to sacrifice my family and my country's well-being, I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm not.
Why would
it doesn't make any sense. And And I had a friend in Canada, in Surrey, BC, went to visit, and this was 15 years ago. And let me tell you, that was an eye-opening. Like, that was a part of Canada I've never been to, Surrey. That was 15 years ago, and it was like, geez, that is not a place I would live. I don't know what it's like today, but
Well,
I haven't.
growing up as a kid watching Cops, like all of those episodes were
Yeah.
from Surrey and that area of Vancouver, and it was like, what, you know?
Has it gotten better?
And there, I doubt it. I doubt it highly because I look at what's happened in our capital city. We live like 30 minutes away, not even.
Okay.
I am so glad that my kids do not grow up in that city, do not have to deal with some of that stuff. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, you know, and it's funny, you know, like when people travel or, you know, they hear about our stories going to Mexico and stuff and they go, oh, you know, aren't you scared? And it's like, bro, I'm scared to walk there. Like, it's way safer. Like, okay, we're not talking cartels and everything, like, obviously, right? Different world. But I mean, it's no different. Like, I would never walk down some of the streets with my kids that are, you know, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah.
I love how off topic we are too. It's like wild, bro.
But it isn't. It isn't off. I don't think it is off topic. This is why we're in crypto. You know, like we want better things for our families and better things for the world, I think. And as long as they keep devaluing our money, you know, and it's going to make it harder for everybody everywhere. So the farther we let them devalue our money away from value, you know, the more these problems are going to persist. You look at what's happened in Argentina recently, you know, they've actually got control of their money again. They quit letting the central banks, and it is crazy, but free markets run. You know, they quit printing so much money. I mean, I think their inflation was 7%, which sounds like a lot, but not when it was like 140%.
Exactly.
You know, these people, you know, talk about desperate. I mean, I know some people from Argentina that came here, you know, 10 years ago or so, and it was bad then. I had a friend that was going to open up a business in Argentina in 2003. Yeah, it was 2003. He wanted to open a heli ski business. He says, man, it's great. Food's awesome. People are great. You know, it's 3-to-1 exchange rate. 3-to-1. That was 2003, so 20 years ago. And now it's like 850-to-1 exchange rate for the US dollar. It's tragic.
Yeah.
You know, it basically it sucked everybody into poverty. You know,
and it's a big shame for a country that got so much good things going for it. Yeah. And
at the turn of the century, the 1900s, Argentina was expected to be the next world superpower, not the United States. Think about that. 100 years ago, 120 years ago, Argentina was projected to be the world's superpower, not the United States.
Yeah. Strange one.
Yeah. So, you know, you got world banks that just crush all these countries, and now, you know, we have an opportunity to take that back, hopefully, as long as we don't screw it up and let all the banks take over Bitcoin and all these other essential currencies.
They're trying hard to get their fingerprint on it.
Well, you see a lot of the OGs that have abandoned Bitcoin because the values of Bitcoin are gone. You know, the libertarian movement of Bitcoin has been hijacked. You know, Roger Ver, he has a book, Hijacking Bitcoin, that speaks about. I'm a big Roger Ver fan. You know, his principles, I don't think have changed that much. He's always been a pretty solid guy as far as you know, the vision of crypto. And he kind of predicted what was happening, and he saw it coming. You know, that's why Bitcoin Cash became a thing. And I think he lost. He probably looks like he lost out to the banks, but You know,
A lot of people can say bad things about Roger Ver because of Bitcoin Cash and everything else like that. And the primary, opinion of what that was as a threat or an attack. But, you know, he probably, like, he did a lot for the protocol, for the base protocol, like a lot. So,
Yeah.
say what you want.
Roger Ver has done more to push adoption than anybody else.
Yeah,
All
and
right, boys.
it is interesting to see that Bitcoin has now become such an institutionalized thing. I'm sure that was not the intention when they first set out on that journey.
So we're 10 minutes over the hour here. You guys ready to kick this one off?
Yeah,
Or you
appreciate you
wanna
guys.
Or you want to keep saving the world?
We appreciate you, Eli. We always have interesting discussions with you when you're with us, mate. And today we got around pretty far within our own ecosystem and well outside of it as well. So super interesting as always. So thanks to both of you.
I especially appreciate your deep dive into the U.S. Spin on everything, right? Because I don't have that like you do. So I just sit and listen and try to absorb it, man. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm just a stupid cowboy sitting out in the field, man. Montana's
far from it. That's what you want us to think. It's far from it.
Yeah, Montana's a unique place. It's different than other places in the United States. So I have a little different view, I think, than a lot of folks that live maybe in Florida. But
you have better air quality.
Well, I don't know. I do. I just want you guys to know, like, I feel bad for, what's happening to everywhere in the world. And ignore the United States aspect of it. It's just hard watching all these great places, just getting destroyed monetarily. I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat, all getting screwed. Fuck the governments. It's the people that are getting screwed. I'm serious.
No, I agree. Couldn't agree more,
man. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eli. Thanks, Tracer.
And like I always say, thank everybody for being here and taking time out on their Sunday to hang out for COTI and Crypto Confidential. We'll be back next week with more. Expect more partnership updates and juicy stuff happening this week from official channels. We'll see you next time. Same place, same channel. From course to coach and around the world, this is COTI Confidential, signing off.
Stay COTI.
Building futures in the stream. Layer 2 rides the blockchain dream. AI dances in the quantum glow. Scalable promises let the future show. Transactions flying faster than sight. Coated Youth orbit in endless light. Silent power in the digital sea. Prophecy roaring for you and me. A revolution bound by the key. Garbled circuits set our minds